Now, we are taking a look at Polish domestic politics and whether or not there's been fragmentation in be it the Civic Coalition or the outgoing Law and Justice Party. And joining us to talk more about this particular topic is Mr. Olgierd Annusewicz. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Welcome. Hello.
So let's first take a look at what the Polish president has said. He's highlighted the fact that there seems to be a little bit of a leadership issue when it comes to the Law and Justice Party. Can you help break it down? What specifically does he mean?
Well, I think he meant exactly what he said, that there is a crisis, a leadership crisis within Law and Justice, but this is the more important than the crisis itself. It's the fact that the president is stating it, because generally speaking, we should assume that president is kind of impartial in terms of political party issues in Poland. So when the president states that there is a leadership crisis, he is obviously criticizing the way Jarosław Kaczyński is ruling the party. And we could also have some signs of this, let's call it his own presidential, his own politics in terms of internal Polish party situation. I think he would like to, I don't know, maybe even replace Jarosław Kaczyński in the shoes of the leader of Polish right. Let's remind that he is the last leader of the right who significantly won elections. He was able to defeat Rafał Trzaskowski in last presidential election, and he is the only right leader in current politics. Moreover, due to the constitution, the president has quite large, I would call it, force in terms of politics. So he is the only one who can actively, let's say, defend right or conservative values on Polish political scene. So when he criticizes Jarosław Kaczyński, not directly, but let's at least half directly, then we could say that this is that he steps into this, let's say, kind of a conflict or championship for the future leader of conservative right in Poland.
Right. Like you mentioned, when it comes to the right-wing figures in Poland, now Jarosław Kaczyński, the leader of the Law and Justice Party, is quite dominant as a figure. But that seems also to be waning. We're looking at the recent Małopolskie region crisis, where when asked to vote anonymously, a lot of the Law and Justice politicians are actually now voting against the will of Jarosław Kaczyński, even though, of course, when they are they're doing so anonymously. So does it mean that in the back rooms there's some disorganization, or were there actually tensions within these Law and Justice politicians?
Exactly. That this is the root for the comment from the president, of course. But if we would, like, go back in time, like 2 years or 3 years ago, Jarosław Kaczyński had absolutely dominant voice in Law and Justice. It were his own decisions about nominating people for official positions, both in the government and local governments, also in public-owned companies. His the statute, the internal law of the party, the Law and Justice, also makes him independent from any other groups. His decisions are final, and probably nobody can. Maybe formally that there are some ways, but politically, there was nobody else who could, question decisions of Jarosław Kaczyński. Now we have situation absolutely the opposite. So there are leaders of Law and Justice who question some of them openly, as Minister Ardanowski, former Minister of Agriculture, Ardanowski, and well, indirectly in these votings in Lesser Poland regional parliament, there are voices questioning the leadership of Jarosław Kaczyński. This is something that we haven't been witnessing on the Polish right since 2001, when Law and Justice was established.
Right, like you said, we might see that dominance waning. And you brought up a very important figure here, the former Agriculture Minister Ardanowski, openly criticizing the Law and Justice Party and having to break away from the party, talking about potentially establishing his own. And we are also looking at the situation with the recent Justice Fund scandal, where Law and Justice Party is trapped between a rock and a very hard place of whether or not they want to dissociate with Romanowski and lose the coalition with his junior partners, or keep him on but be dragged down alongside with the scandal. Do you think we're looking down at the potential fragmentation of the Law and Justice Party, its coalition partners, and some of its politicians?
I always say, when commenting these kind of questions, and it doesn't matter whether it's about Law and Justice or civic platform, that if politicians have the instinct of survival, they should keep together. They should stick together. They shouldn't divide into more smaller parties. In the history of Polish, but not only Polish, party systems, the fragmentation of the political scene had done nothing good. Although there is this issue of former Solidarity, now they call themselves Sovereign Poland leaders. And well, again, I was commenting this many times, that if there is the biggest leader of troubles for Law and Justice, and these were always since the beginning of their governing in 2015, exactly, Sovereign Poland leaders, many crises were given to the coalition by the leaders and politicians of this party. So I think, in terms of the instinct of survival, it would be beneficial for Law and Justice to part with politicians from the Solidarity or Sovereign Poland. They are in the opposition. And there are no signs that Law and Justice could get back into power within 1 or 2 or 3 years. So I think it would be better for them to be in this opposition alone, without Sovereign Poland, and in that way, let's say, cut off this burden that probably will be heavier and heavier. Of course, the governing party, Civic Coalition, and the left and the Third Way, they always will be repeating that Sovereign Poland was actually the part of Law and Justice. But still, this is the kind of a discourse that will be held, and for the conservative voters, the message that will come from the Law and Justice will be, of course, much more important than the message that is coming from the government, from the current government. So it is a kind of a problem for Law and Justice, and at this way, the fragmentation would probably be beneficial for Law and Justice. But any other fragmentation, like Mr. Ardanowski creating his own party, wouldn't be, I think, first of all, it wouldn't be successful, but also it wouldn't be beneficial to Law and Justice.
All right, thank you so much for your input and insight and helping us unpack this a very complicated situation. Now, whether or not this is a bellwether of what is to come and what will Polish politics look like after these political crises, we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, thank you so much for being with us. Our guest has been Olgierd Annusewicz, political scientist from University of Warsaw. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.